times have you been playing Valorant and thought, wow, this should really be added? Maybe this should be changed. Or maybe even, the game would be so much better if they just did this. Well, me too. I've actually had plenty of thoughts about things that Valorant could change, add, bring back, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing that. Welcome, it's starramari. Happy to have you here. On my channel, I love to yap about things going on in Valorant, specifically things that I would like to see changed or issues that are going on in the game, and I also post my stream highlight, twitch.tv/starramari if you're interested. Before we start, quick little side note, I do have a part 2 to this video. It is currently in the works. This video is just a little bit longer than I originally intended, and I want to get it out for you all as soon as possible. So if there's something that I don't mention and you really wanted me to, do not worry, you will be heard. Anyway, alright, elephant out of the room. We'll talk about you. The replay system. Not only would the replay system be super good to be able to go back and see what could I improve on in this game. I got a really good clip from that game, but my streaming software wasn't working. Besides this, I think it'd be super good for content creation, which games do thrive off of. Something that I used to see when I would watch Overwatch YouTube videos, I know, I'm sorry, was people doing VOD reviews of games of, oh hey, can you review this game and tell me what I could do to improve, or watch this funny moment. This guy was so toxic in my game. Can you just make a video off of it? I guess is what they're saying. But with that being a thing that people can make content off of, it gets more people wanting to play the game and wanting more people to review their VODs, or it's easier to even make content if you have those VODs in Valorant. So let's say maybe you forgot to even record in OBS or Streamlabs if you use Streamlabs, then boom, it's right there for you. And then that makes Valorant content so much easier to make, so much easier to put out. And then boom, more content being made of Valorant, more people wanting to play Valorant, maybe even get back into the game. At the end of the day, the replay system is a win-win for everybody. And I hope it gets put into the game really soon. I'm totally not mad about all the clips that I lost because my clipping software wasn't working. Sorry, I had to see that. The next thing I'm kind of about, but because I've seen it thrown around, I figured I'd mention it. Character skins. I think it'd be cool to have something like for Sage, Jet, and Neon, their outfits that they wore in the little shopping trip art that Valorant put out. But I wouldn't want anything too crazy, something that would be too flashy or even make your character stand out and give you away, like the Oni katana did, which I think they fixed, but I have no clue. If not, hey, that's something that should be changed. Another thing that I'm really on the fence about, more on the no side, but if it's added, I'm not going to be mad, I'm not going to protest it in any sort of way, is character emotes. Looking back, I totally forgot about the flex emotes, which in my opinion are a really good emote system, and that should be our, in quotes, emote system. But I figured that I would leave in my original points anyway. When I messaged specifically Sneaky, he said, character emotes that make you go in third person. I know that would lead to a lot of glitches, that would be so unfair, but if they were only be able to use like in spawn or something, or after the round is over, no, they're probably could still lead to some bugs like, oh, do it right up against the wall and it could give you a wall hack, which God, I would hope not. Oh my God, like the mist bloom bug, that was something. Oh my God, I just remember that. I kind of like how they did the 3D emote sort of deal with the finisher with the Champions Phantom. I think they could do more things like that because it's a finisher, it's kind of silly, which is why I like that. And I don't really think that adding like a third person emote would really be a good idea. I think we should just be happy with what we got. Speaking of being happy with what we got, I gotta be mad about something we don't have, and that's replication. And look, I understand if they took it out of the queue because it would be like a little bit cluttered on like the game modes, or if it didn't have enough players, but replication was so fun. Imagine if it was you and 4 other Tejos and you could just roll out with your little drones. I can only imagine how bad it would be with the missiles, but it'd be fun. If you don't know what replication was, it was a game mode where you would vote for a character that all 5 of your teammates would play. After the countdown ended, the game would pick which character you were all going to play, and then you would play first to 4 or 5, and I don't really remember which. But it was crazy and it was super fun, and I think they should bring it back because I miss it and I'm salty. But like I said, I understand if they don't bring it back because it just didn't have enough players or because it just looked cluttered. You know, I totally get it, but I can still be salty. Besides all this kind of silly, lighthearted stuff that I've brought up, I'd like to talk about something that I think should be taken a lot more seriously. I'd like to talk about the report system and how I personally still think that it's not up to par. After chatting around with some people and even watching Valorant streams and such, I feel like the report system is still not as good as it should be. Way too much is able to be said in voice chat, and I feel like sometimes the text chat feature is it's a bit iffy, it's inaccurate, it does tag words that really don't need to be censored, but the voice chat system I still think has a lot of issues. And no, of course not every Valorant voice chat is going to be monitored, and not every game is going to be monitored either. In all honesty, if you can't handle someone of the opposite gender being on your team, you can't handle the fact that they're better than you or they're not having a good game, you need to self-evaluate. You need to get off the game and go outside, play a different game, find a different hobby, because that's not healthy. There's no reason to resort to toxicity and even bigotry just because someone else is not the same gender as you, or sounds different than you, talks different than you. It's an online game. You're not going to be playing a 5-stack of you. You're going to be playing with yourself and 4 other people, and you'll probably never queue with that person again. You might, but the chances are really slim. And obviously, yes, people love to go onto online games and troll. I am very well aware of that, and I'm not making an excuse for them. I'm just pointing out that I'm aware that there are people that purposely go out there and purposefully be toxic, which my point still stands. Go get a different hobby. There's way better things to do in life. Another thing that we unfortunately have to consider is there is a good portion of the Valorant community that is full of edgy 14-year-olds who haven't matured yet, that haven't figured out that sexism, racism, pedophilia, etc. is not funny, and also that harassing someone isn't funny. That's unfortunately something that I do see a lot outside of video games as well. As someone who is very invested in education these days, a lot of it does come down to parenting and poor parenting, but unfortunately there are content creators out there that do flat out promote bigotry, and a lot of these edgy 14-year-olds, and unfortunately even older than 14, because they don't grow out of that mentality, they see them as a role model, and that's just so disgusting. Recently I've been watching a lot of Truly Tenson streams. I feel like she's a great role model. She really knows how to speak her mind and stand up for people, and I've been watching her and taking a lot of inspiration from her. But I was watching one of her streams recently, and she had some like little kids basically on her team, and they were throwing. I'm not really too sure if it was because Tenzin's a woman or if it's just because they're little kids, but she basically did what she could to carry her team to a win, and they were throwing, and her and her chat were talking about how if she were to make a video or a TikTok about it, that she would get a flood of hate comments, a flood of people saying it's your fault and blaming her for some odd reason. But if a man were to have that same situation, people would be like, "So true, King, I'm so sorry that happened to you. This is so messed up. Valorant really needs to fix this." And besides the content creation aspect of this, it really speaks true to the Valorant community. And if you're listening and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't do that, so there's no point for you to bring it up, you're kind of brushing the issue under the rug. If you don't personally experience it, or if you don't see it, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. At the end of the day, you're playing an online game that anybody can play. I don't think everybody should be able to play it. I think that when a game says it's 16 plus, only 16 plus should be on there. But that goes back to my small point about poor parenting, which I'm not here to talk about today. If you can't handle someone on your team being different than you, whether they're top of the team, bottom of the team, maybe they're really bad at aiming, maybe they're really good at aiming, maybe they're really bad with their util, maybe they're insane with their util and it kind of pisses you off because they're so good with their util, like playing a lineup that's really stupid but really good. You have a couple options. You can not play the game and play a different game. You can mute your team, not talk to them. You could get a full team of people that you want to play with, or you can just suck it up because it's going to happen. At the end of the day, you're just causing more problems for yourself by getting mad. Why not just play the game like a normal person if you choose to stay on the game? And like I said, not excusing them, but I do know trolls exist. And I do want to keep my statement genderless because unfortunately people will deal with toxicity from any gender. I experienced the most toxicity from men, but I have seen experiences of people dealing with toxicity from a girl, and from what I've seen, it gives a lot of pick-me energy. And I'll be real with you, from personal experience, you cannot fix him. Acting a certain way that maybe isn't like yourself to impress someone, no. To get back on track though, voice chat isn't the only thing that needs improvement on when it comes to reporting. And yes, unfortunately, there will be times where it is harder to prove that your teammate is throwing by sky blinding you or breach stunning you. But if it's constant and they don't get reported for it, I think that most definitely needs to be improved upon. Is there anything that I missed that you would want to see added into Valorant, changed, replaced? Leave a comment down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays after 6 p.m. EST. I also post free streamer assets on my Ko-fi, so definitely check that out as well. And final plug, I have an art Instagram now at starramari, so check that out. Thank you all for listening to me yap, and the next time I have a Val opinion or just an opinion, I will make a video on it. My next video might be about entitlement, or it might finally be a stream highlight. Whatever it may be, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!